Ah, hello, archers on the internet. Um, Tech Sport was in here, and I guess he didn't see the go live button right there. I didn't see it either. So it looks like we're live now. It says live over there. We're recording for 10 seconds. This is a quick hello uh, to archers on the entire net. Um, and see who's out there. Say hello. You can ask some questions. Trying this format out to see if we want to do a live stream tomorrow with a specific question and a specific format, and I'll have all interesting data points, maybe, or uninteresting ones, and people can ask questions. So, who's going to be the first to ask me, what the heck am I doing? Besides dropping arrows. Aha! Techful! Leaf is there. And Vincent, hello! How you doing? Okay, so we're checking out the format here, checking out the camera, checking out lighting, learning how to get on the live stream for tomorrow probably. Why do I hit my nose? Huh? So that's an interesting question. I don't know why you hit your nose, but I know why I sometimes hit my nose. Do you use a tab, Vincent? That or just a regular glove? Hunter for the hungry. All right. Okay. What the heck are you doing? I'm shooting my bow right here in my small room, just to show folks that when it's cold outside, you can you can practice in a very short area as long as you can pop a couple holes in the ceiling and hang a. I've got a third handbag target here. Maybe I can spin towards it and you can see it. Oh, maybe not. I'll pull this off here. So there's a third handbag target. Pretty inexpensive, like 20 bucks. And I put light plastic in it. The light plastic that goes around pallets works really well for catching arrows. And you can see, what do you need? 10 feet? 10 feet between the wall? If you're in an apartment, you might want to rethink. Well, you can figure it out. I'm sure people out there are pretty creative. If there's a will, there's a way. And, oop, I'm a little out of whack. Yeah, there we go. So, glove. Okay. So there's a few reasons why you might hit your nose, um, and it has to do with the way the arrow comes off of your glove and pushes into your nose. It comes off the glove and heads this direction most often if you're a right-handed shooter. When I tuck in really tight, I'll hit my nose and I'll get kind of a fat lip. Uh, as I heard Fawn Krieg say to um, John Demmer, she goes, if you just turn your head a little, you won't keep hitting your nose, which is kind of an obvious statement, but that's one of the reasons. I like the string to be in tight, close to my face, close to my eye. So yeah, I hit my nose once in a while, hit my lip a little bit, and that does happen. Gloves for. Glad you're doing. These love your videos. Aha, what bow am I shooting? Well, shameless plug to Hitman Archery, and this is a Blackhunter Deluxe, and bamboo, 30 pounds. I got the 30-pound limbs for rehabilitating my shoulder after getting it chopped. I have a nice pair of 35-pound limbs. I don't know if you can see them up here. I really like the way the bow performs with that. But my shoulder's a little finicky, so I'm staying with these longbow limbs that are smoother to draw, for me, anyhow. And this is only a 30-pound set of limbs. Good for practicing your form. Here, let me grab another arrow out of the bag. And you can see, in the winter or any time actually, you really don't need a whole lot to just practice. And I would advise people, or say, hey, tell people, set up a bag somewhere, as long as nobody in the house yells at you for doing it, but or just don't let them know, and just practice a few times a day. Not even a lot of arrows. Stretch, and then just shoot a few arrows. Practice your form to keep things going in the cold winter months. Uh, so, so I think it's pretty cool to have that there. What gave me the idea is I had my pulley for some shoulder exercises off of an eye hook right there, and I went, if I put another eye hook in, I could put my bag target right there. I don't even have to leave the bow room to go practice. Do we have any other questions? Where do we hit your face, glove, and get a bag and practice? So some of the possible podcast live stream, because I hate editing. I'm thinking about doing one, your first traditional bow, and I've been meaning to do that for a while. Somebody had asked for it, and going over some of the points of what somebody might look for in their first traditional bow. I did one a while ago. Maybe I'll put a link. And people kept saying, it's like an advertisement for bows. It's like, it was a joke. That was the idea. But I think so many people were discouraged by that they miss the key points. And I'll redo it and highlight the key points of what I would look for in selecting my first traditional bow, or recommending somebody else try for their first traditional bow. And I may even go over what you would get for kids and show the stuff that Leaf progressed through. Even though this may not be for kids, this podcast, live stream, whatever it is, but for their parents who want it, or grandparents, or anybody that might want to get their niece, nephew a traditional bow, and some things that I think are good pointers. If not, you can disagree and say, hey, I disagree with that. And I'll go, okay, let's see what you got. How often do I compete? How often do I compete? Not in years, not in a couple of years. I think the LAS Classic 2 years ago would have been the last time I competed. Other than 3Ds with my son, if we have a bet going for some little trinket or something. I haven't really competed much, but that doesn't mean you should just slack off all winter long. Actually, today was a beautiful day. Could have been shooting outside, but I was trying to get some work done. So I can come on in and do some practice right here. No, I don't think Joe, how's it going? I don't think I'm going to be competing at the LAS Classic. I am not up to speed and form. Had my shoulder operated on. It's been a year recovery now. Doing pretty darn well. Great range of motion. Little lacking on the strength, though. A little lacking on the strength to shoot two rounds back to back. Yeah, notice I have a nice light bow. I wouldn't be shooting a bare bow. I probably couldn't hold up my bare bow now, or I'd be sore after one round, let alone two. So, are you gonna go to the LAS Classic? If you are, this is a good thing to practice. Well, you need to practice. Well, you don't need to practice. You just come as you are. Come as you are. Just go for the fun of it and experiencing it. That's what I did the first time. Any more questions going on out there? I see 7 people. 7 people have made it. Pardon my back as I turn and grab my arrow. This is such a cool thing. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I used to go down to the cellar. The cellar doesn't have enough room. I hit the ceiling. I have to sit on a stool. For practicing, just blank bailing. Probably could even paper train your bow here. That's another topic. Greg's asked me to do that a while ago, and I haven't got to the paper training your bow. That's the title. It's really paper tuning, and I don't know if it should be really called paper tuning versus paper snapshot of what your arrow is doing at a particular point in time. How am I doing? Are you a bow hunter or just an archer? Just an archer? I have bow hunted. I don't currently. I would like to again. Time issues, doing lots of different things. But yeah, someday I'll bow hunt again. But all this stuff going on. Maybe when the kids are all out of the house. I'll be an empty nester. My wife will be a true empty nester. I'll be off in the woods all the time. So, yeah, going to the LAS Classic to watch is, that's cool, but it's an experience getting on the line with lots and lots of other phenomenal archers. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the, I don't know, adrenaline or the feelings you get when you're on the line and you're trying to compete and you're trying to not look like a total knucklehead in front of some of your idol archers out there. I think it's just do it. Yeah, so if it wasn't so far away, I'd run down there myself, but it's a good 5-something hours for me to get to the LAS Classic. So, but it would be good fun to see a lot of folks at the LAS Classic, at the Lancaster Archery Classic. Any more questions, thoughts about topics? Topics are your first traditional bow, paper training your bow, maybe another one. That would probably should be a produced video though. I'm not sure if that should be a live stream. I don't know how the quality of the video, the audio, the spinning and showing people things, having a piece of paper here. I don't quite have as much room as I would like for paper tuning or paper training. And the training is really yourself. That's kind of the key. Any other questions? 7, holding at 7, folks. I know it was a little last minute. Again, it's just to check out the video, audio, equipment. It would have been a disaster. Well, it was less than optimal, my start time, learning which buttons to hit, even though I had tech support helping me. Tech support was in here when I let the first arrow go, and he thought I just drew back my bow and dry fired. He didn't even notice I had a target set up right here. I thought that was kind of cute. I wish I had that on video. Any other questions? I think we might be tuning it down, and then I'll go back and look at this video and see if it's of decent enough quality to record other things. Shelf material. Whew. Whew. Shelf material. Leather, nothing. Electrical tape. Feather. I have some Teflon, but I've never used the Teflon. Felt from the bottom for furniture. Some of the pre-purchase, this one was all set up when I bought it. It has some of that furry stuff on there. Plain leather. The little kit that, I forgot who sells it. It's a little chunk of leather and a little piece of rawhide, and you carve it and you put it under there and you stick it down. I like that one. Wait a minute, what bow has that? Oh, I'll try to grab this without knocking anything down. These are a couple bucks. I forgot who sells them. Well, it's getting a little worn. But what I do is I cut a little piece of the leather, shave it down, and then the piece of leather that goes under here, I shave at a slight angle, and then stick it all down. This makes a great shelf. Maybe I'll put a link in the description when this publishes. I'm just not Hoyt, maybe. I'm just not remembering who did it, who put that on, who I purchased that from. Super Rests. I've broken those. As you can see here, I'm really high tech. I'm not kidding. Electrical tape. There's been electrical tape on this for a couple of years. As I kept finishing it, I didn't want to keep pulling a shelf on and off. It was a U finish. I did it myself, finished it myself, and I still haven't put anything besides the electrical tape on there. So it really doesn't matter. Yeah, let me rephrase that. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that statement I just have to let go for now. 76er here has a couple of those furniture pad thingies on there for shelf material. Oh, yeah, the one above it is a feather rest. Let's try not to knock that down. Ooh, those are cool. I like the feather rest. Bear weather rest. That is a cool rest. Some of my 76ers came with a bear style weather rest on there, and I've also purchased some. And should I try to read the comments, see if there's any other questions about the rests? What other rests have I used? Yeah, this bow you can see is one of those little purchased rests that you buy a little kit. I don't know, $5, $6, $4. I can't remember what they are for price. Maybe Hoyt. Hey, Mr. Klutzy Outdoorsman, how's it going there? Hoping to get to Etar again this year. Size of groupings at 20 yards, shooting instinctive, snap shooting. What is your opinion? Is it good? For who? Byron Ferguson? I don't know. For me? Like yay? Snap shooting? Yeah. If I work my butt off in practice, yeah, heck, any group, 20 yards for me, about yay. Snap shooting, that's a tough call. I don't recommend it, but you watch Leaf do it for years and years and years, super effectively. But when you start getting out to further distances and stuff, it's a little harder. I don't know any super good true snap shooters. So, have you settled on cock feather? Doesn't matter to me. Cock feather. So here's the deal. Here's what I've found over the years. The cock feather doesn't matter as much as the spline of the fletch. If it has a little bump on that and that hits your shelf or hits your side plate first, that'll kick your arrow. But where the fletch is, yeah, I haven't seen any issue. In fact, I used to do some checking and put the cock feather in, and I thought that it actually worked better with some bows, but it could just be psychological that I'm paying way more attention and just making a cleaner release. My type of archery, instinctive for what I do, I don't see a huge difference. Again, except for if this quill, maybe that's the right word, if this quill hits the shelf or hits the side plate, it'll kick the arrow. And you might have seen me, I'll take an arrow and trim the fletching off, and that'll be my bear shaft. I learned that from Black Widow archery YouTube channel. So yeah, I don't much care which way the arrow is. It is super ingrained to always use my indexer and put the cock feather out, but it doesn't. I don't see any difference. So maybe if somebody's really super good. So for me, it's more of an OCD thing. Keep it out. Don't think it really matters. Let us know how it works for you if you find that it does make a huge difference. Showing off your bow collection. Oh, I didn't intentionally do that. No. No, I didn't. I didn't even go to the longbow rack. Oh, well, so you planning on? How's your? What's the favorite fletch? I'm going to go with my favorite fletching is right here. Do I have any through rivers arrows? 4 or 5 inch 3 fletch. Yeah, that's pretty much my favorite. There's a reason why when you look in Three Rivers, you get their traditional or the LAS catalog, a 5 inch 3 fletch is where it's a good all around balance. You can get razors, you can get things, you can get arrows that'll fly further. These babies fly surprisingly well, these instinctive micro diameters with these. This confuses me a little because in general, I like these, but these will actually drop less long range, and they're enough fletching to stabilize an arrow. But you can see they're a little bit taller, maybe a little taller than my other. I like true flight fletching. Do I have any? Oh, here's a. Here. Stay with the classic. I mean, you can play with whatever you want, but this is tried and true, works and works and works for a general all over target 3D hunting. This is a good, about 5 inch slight helical. Yeah, there's a reason why that's kind of the most common. Looks classic, works great. I know everybody wants to reinvent the wheel, but this works great. So let us know what you think works better for you. If you had a problem with the quill hitting the side, a 4 fletch might work better because then it never should be lined up on the side plate or on the shelf. However, the more fletching you run, the slower the arrow goes. But as I always say, fletching is your friend. 5 inch fletching can hide all kinds of errors. They're really good. You don't, if you got everything dialed in and you have a perfect release, you don't even need fletchings on there. This is for when we make mistakes. I make mistakes pretty often. So let's see if Blackhunter. Yep, planning on fletching is your arrows. Oh, on these are, I don't know if they're true flight or bear. I think they're true flight. I bought a bunch of bear paw once because they were cheap. I like the true flight better. And what I do is I buy a bag of 50 of white and then 12 of another color. And that works. White shows up really well, and pink shows up incredibly well. These were my first did the fletching on these in pink because these are 800 spine arrows, and I figured they're kind of girly arrows in pink, but they were great. And it was kind of funny because at ETAR, a bunch of us went out, and there were 4 or 5 guys with pink fletching, and 3 of the women had blue fletching. Go figure. So the Blackhunter Deluxe. Yeah, I like this bow a lot. I've never been one that said, except for that bow, except for my Dwyer Dauntless. Oh, my White Wolf looks really nice. Oh, and a couple other customs. I had to have a really pretty looking bow, but this thing looks great. And I find I treat it better than I'll do a lot of my other bows just because it looks so nice. and it's seriously reasonably priced. So you can always see Hitman Archery to get one of these imported jobbies, or whoever your local Jing, I don't know the name of it. Go through somebody that's going to replace it. I wouldn't go through Alibaba, buy it from off the internet. I want some big stuff coming out of foreign lands, have rough quality control. They can be up and down depending upon the month, the year, the week, and you want to have a good dealer that'll just go to bat for you and swap your gear out if something goes wrong with it. Hitman Archery, they'll do that for you. Eric's already trying to replace these because some of them break. Oh, okay, some of them do, but when you get a real light 30-pound limb like this is actually a harder, I think, if I had to build this, a harder limb to produce and get so that it was stable side to side, and because it's pretty darn thin. 35 in a recurve, yeah, that's easy. But you start dropping into the 30s in a longbow, that's a little rough in my opinion. So yeah, this is a beautiful bow. I don't like the Blackhunter phenolic thing, riser forward. So personal preference. I think this is really pretty. I treat it real nice. It's not an expensive bow. So Blackhunter looks nice. I fletch up 12 4-fletched ETAR. They flew great. Could be Paul. Pick up the right shaft. Yep. Cock feather in was the ticket. Seemed counterintuitive, but yeah. Again, there was a bow. I don't have it's. Oh, it's out in the other room. That I was trying it on. It seemed to fly better, or better, or no difference. The better could have been in my mind. Don't know. I didn't spend that much time with it, but it's a tough call. It's pretty subjective as humans when we're trying something out and we perceive what's going on. It's not gospel. But unless you put it on a hooter shooter or something, but that's harder because then it would release like this and not off your fingers and oscillate the same way your fingers will. Your personal form factor will have a huge effect on what an arrow does, fletching, if it kicks off the shelf, things like that. Something else came in. Ever tried two fletch? No, I'll leave that to Joel. I don't have a need for two fletch. He just does it to mess with people's minds. I think I'm good with three fletch. Good enough. I don't need to. Are you more partial to takedown, ILF, or one piece? One piece. Definitely partial to one piece. I love one piece bows, but it's a lot easier to break a bow down, throw it in your trunk, carry it on a plane, throw it in a boat, whatever you're doing. So I'd have to say that I'm more partial to one-piece bows. And you can't see the longbow rack, but there's only about four of my longbows over there, and my wife's one-piece bear. So, but three-piece bows, a lot less expensive, a lot easier to change. I was thinking about getting a nice light new Omega, and I said, yeah, how long am I going to shoot a 30-pound limb before I get back up to 35, 40? And it just didn't seem right getting a bow that was that low. So that's one of the reasons I grabbed this. Grab it, perfect training, and I'm going to start bleeding into training your first traditional bow. 30 pounds max on your first traditional bow. If you're coming at it the first time, or even coming out of it from compound, 30 pounds. I just wouldn't go over there. If you just want to fling arrows, sure, get whatever you want. Get a 50, get a, I don't know, 50-pound Bear Montana. and whatever you think looks cool for you. But if you want to learn, practice form, and get better, 30 pounds max. You want to be able to come up, work with get your grip, get all your items right, do your rotational draw, hold comfortably so that you're not freaking out, and then keep squeezing your shoulders together or keep pulling, as Joel might say, and have a release that you don't know when it's going to go off. You're working those things in. If you're trying to build strength at the same time as learning a technique, go listen to Joel's course. Go take Joel. You'll understand why. We're humans. It's a normal condition. It's not going to be beneficial for you to be overbowed. Start low as you, but start 10 pounds lower than you think you should, and learn your form, and then work your way up in first traditional bow. So, partial to take down. One piece. Yeah, still one piece. No other questions. That being said, I've got a pretty fair mix. A lot of 76ers, a few three-piece bows. My Yucca, not Yucca, my Gilo, my yeah, my Tradtech Titan 3. That's another good choice. Again, and that's all those are great because you can just switch out your limbs. I just can't shoot that right now. A little too much weight on my shoulder. So I'm gonna miss your live stream. Archery Outdoors, hey! Maybe next time. I may just do it tomorrow night. That's what I'm thinking, and plan ahead. Again, if this lighting and everything format works out okay, and people can see me and hear me well. Uh, You're not gonna miss it. I'm thinking tomorrow at 6. I don't know. Have you ever tried? Oh, Klutzy Outdoors. You had to ask me that. You had to ask me that. No, I haven't shot a grizzly string yet. I know. I've I've uh, I've touted their virtue. I said, don't make them yourself. Uh, it's a thin string. I've seen them. I've shot them on Jim's bows. So yeah, I guess I tried them. I've shot them on Jim's bows, and they're pretty damn nice. Although he's shooting strikers, a striker RK1, and is that other striker with the wood. I don't like the wood one as much. Isn't that kind of funny? I don't like the looks of it or the feel. I don't quite know what it is. And it's not the feel because it feels fine, and I shoot incredible with the bow. So yeah, so I've tried the grizzly strings on Jim's bows, but I don't have any. I've been meaning to get one, and I want to get one for my bear Kodiak. I've been meaning to do that for a few years now, and I just have to put the order in, and I keep forgetting. So what color should I get? I was thinking red and black, green and brown, the Rainbow Coalition one that he had there for a while. But I think, I don't know, green and red. I think plaid grizzly colors would be the one for me to order. Maybe you'll force me into doing that first thing tomorrow morning. Love my Grizzly Strings t-shirt. That's an awesome, comfy t-shirt. And yeah, Grizzly Strings are good. Hitman, they're all really good strings. Actually, that's what's on here. Oh, wait a minute. Am I allowed to rep both guys? This is a Hitman archery string, and he's like closer. So, and then Joeyana makes strings, but I usually have him do my B50s and 55s for my older bows. But look at this string. This is a nice string. This is strings a few years old. It happened to be on Ellie's bow. He put it on this bow, and I said, "Good enough." He gave me another string. I'm like, "No, this is good enough." Look at this. Yeah. Uh, all these guys know how to make a really decent string. So yeah, definitely up your game. Get if you have a modern tip, uh, up your bow's performance by getting a moderately skinny string, nice padded loops, Jim will do them. Uh, Hitman will do them. Joey will do them. I just haven't bought any newer synthetic strings from Joey. So, let's see, what did I miss? Some things came in, message retracted. Ray! Ray's in the house. How you doing, buddy? I'm glad you're out there. Soon we'll change our channel to Hitman Archery. Yeah. I don't know if I love what Eric's doing. Eric and Ellie are doing. He works hard, bringing things in, making strings. People that make strings work their butt off. I hate making strings. I make endless loops more often if I just have a specific thing that I want, like to happen, a specific length. I can get them the right length better. I don't know. Mikkel, good day to you. Love your bows. I would donate. Hey, send it to me, Malaysia. Oh yeah, shipping would do it. I do have too many bows. I really should sell some of them or get them in the hands of somebody who's gonna, a young, inspiring archer who needs help getting going. Lacey says hi. Yeah, you could change it to Hitman. Hello, Lacey. Happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year coming up. If I don't talk to you since then, I don't like the grip on the wood striker takedown. I do okay with it, but that RK1. I'm gonna start getting into your first traditional bow information. The RK1, those guys know how to set up a grip so that you don't put torque in a bow. You know another bow does that? Check it out. This is a Bear 76er. Look at that. Look at that thickness. Look at that shape. It doesn't have any, it's just a mag riser. This was one of the cheapest bows you could get when I was a kid. That is a good grip for a beginner. And it's not, I'm going to get into your first bow. Grip. Get a grip. It's not always about how it feels in your hand, how it fills out your hand. It's how the bow reacts from your hand. And a narrow grip with a little bit of rubber, a little bit of wood, that stuff on there. The guys that make that RK1 riser know that because they know it from the compound guys. That is a good grip. When you get into larger grips, a lot of these folks will put, and I don't have, I see, you say I have all my bows. If I could just grab my my Gilo or my Titan, you'll look at the grip on that, and that has a best style grip. In fact, one of them has a wood grip. I switch them back and forth because they fit on both of them. One of them's got a Jaeger grip. This is what the Olympic archers are using. And you can get, dun, 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 you can get your bowyers, if you have a decent bowyer, to make you a grip that is like one of those best grips. So actually, I think, yeah, Keegan, I always say the accent wrong, left this a little proud for me, and I just broke the edge the way I wanted so that it feels like a best style grip. Boom, right in there, no torque. So, I don't like the grip on the wood striker. It does. I shot it fine. I shot it exceptionally. But I used to, again, I'm going to start getting into your first traditional bow. If I don't, I'm going to let out all the cats out of the bag. Show my other three-piece. Things like that are about as big as I can go and have no torque. I like the way they feel when they're bigger, but I will torque the bow guaranteed. The way my hand does something funny, not quite sure. If you're trying to get really good, you don't want that. For me, does it matter? If you shoot enough the same way, it won't matter. The bow will torque the same way, and you'll just accommodate for it. If you stay with one bow, always stay with one bow. Listen to me, stay with one. That's a joke. Shoot whatever the heck you want. Have fun. Bows and arrows. Hi, y'all. Aren't you sweet? Glad to see you, Leanna. Ray, I see you talked about your rest, so I have another question. Do you think a flat rest is just as accurate as a radiused one? No. No, I don't think it is. That being said, it could be if you don't impart any other issues on the rest. Some of the rest of older year, straight across. Do I have anything else? Stand by. Standing by. Straight across the old AMF wing Nighthawk. Lots of old bows. Bear. Bear. Straight across. Are they more accurate? If you didn't impart anything else into the equation, they would be more accurate. However, we're humans. We're going to mess up things. So your best bet is to have one point of contact on the bottom, right at the pivot point of your handle, and one point, at least this one, has a little bump here, and it's just about at the pivot point, and that will allow the arrow to come off depending upon if you put a little bit of down pressure, a little bit of up pressure, side to side, you twist your handle, you do any of this. If you have it right at the pivot point, any little errors like this, it helps correct for it. Check this out. You start doing, let me go this way. You start doing any little bit, okay, so our bow is all straight. You do this, look at it, change that arrow. You do this, look at it, change the arrow. You put it in the middle, and it kind of teeter-totters right over that point. So you will induce less errors. So that's my opinion. Highest point on the shelf, right at the pivot point. And on the side plate, right at the pivot point. Anything this way or this way, it'll help reduce the errors that we put into the arrow and its aiming and its release and all those fine things. How can I show up and down? Yeah. So for instance, if for some reason you got your hand here, look what happens to the arrow when you move your hand up a little. If the arrow would go up a lot, but if you just had it teetering there, it wouldn't go up as much. So I highly recommend no flat shelf. Radius. And why every bow doesn't have that nowadays is beyond me. I don't know, if it was easier in years gone by to just make this, but now that you know, don't shoot bows. Friends don't let friends shoot off the shelf that aren't radiused, or they create a radius with a side plate, with a striker plate, a rest. So yeah, that's my thought on that. How far back was I? On fast flight strings, how many strands would you use on 35? Enough to make it comfortable? I'll let Archery Outdoors answer that question. I don't know. I use 8, maybe 6, the lowest. But then, it depends on how performance you want to make it. If you get it down to real low string count, then you've got to pad out your serving. Which, if you're trying to get 2-3 more feet per second out of there, that's what you do. I don't get too crazy with my fast flights. I played with it some, and there is a difference. Is it worth it? I don't think so. Stay with something standard. Stay with, like this. Eric, how many strands are in this string? This Hitman string. I don't know. It was the one that was off of Ellie's bow. Let's see if I'll answer. Da-da-da. Let's see. 35. Bows and arrows. Once bow, you silly thing. One bow. I know. Nope's one bow. Have you shot any horse bows? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Well, depends on what you mean by horse bow. If you're talking about something like this Hungarian you finished bow, yes, I've shot these. And I've even tried thumb rings. Oh my goodness, do I stink with a thumb ring? You want to see some ridiculousness? Me shooting a thumb ring. What a riot. I would make Justin Ma cringe. Just so happens I have one of these Kayakans. I shoot it like a traditional bow. That's getting a little slippery. Yeah, I would have to drop down way low to shoot thumb ring with some of these. I just am not very good at it. I just so stink at that. And I haven't worked at it. I just fiddle around with it. So is Eric coming back with how many strands are on this string that was on Ellie's bow? I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Probably D97. Maybe he was experimenting with something. It looks like only 6 or 8 strands down here. It looks pretty small, and then he padded it out. But the arrows that I'm using with this are they have an X knock on them. Take your own chances. You take your own chances. This is a Predator 2. I use X-Nox in my Predator 2s. It's not quite the right size. It may push on a little bit. You may have to shim it a little. And I don't quite remember which way it is. But I have X-Nox on more of my arrows. So I use them on the Predator. And this string, as I got it from Eric, works perfect for an X-Nox. So I never put the other string on it. So Leaf's got his other string on. Leaf got a new string this year. He's only running a 30-pound bow, and that looks like similar strand count. Don't know, Eric. You'll have to ask Eric what the string count is on that strand count. Are we still getting questions? Hitman says 12 strands BCYX with padded loops and center serving. Oh, now he said sorry. 10 strand padded. Then he says mercury string. What the heck is a mercury string? So I have some BCYX that I got. It's on my Gilo, and but then I thought they were discontinuing the BCYX and going to something else. D97 is the one I use more. See other folks for the BCYX strings, or make them yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just buy them from somebody else. Just buy them from Eric. Buy them from Jim. Buy them from. It's just not worth it unless you just happen to want to play and get something set up real quick, and you don't want to wait a couple days. Hey, what diameter arrow is your favorite? Aha. That's not even one I was going to put. That wasn't even in the discussion. So, what are my favorite? The good old Easton Axis trads are still one of my favorite arrows. And I don't know what these are, 240. I don't see my calipers right there. I used them for something else. Whatever these are, they take an X-Nock. However, if you're just getting into shooting or getting into a particular carbon arrow style, micro diameter arrows, they work better in a wide. I have found, my personal opinions, I have found they work better in a wider range of bows And one of the reasons I believe is because if you're getting close to center or center shot or you're shimmed out, your arrow doesn't end up so far out. They just seem to inherently fly better. Uh, these Instinct, Black Eagle Instinct, do I have? Oh, I don't have the other ones. I had some carbon something Korean ones that look like fake bamboo. I'll be darned if it, and I was not very enamored. I wasn't enamored with the price either, but I got them at a really good deal. And I'll be darned if the things don't shoot extremely well. There's a bunch of my bows that it just shoots really well out of. So these are fun. I like the outserts. And these are the Black Eagle, but everybody makes a smaller diameter. Uh, I'm not that great of a fan of the big gold tips. I mean, they look more traditional and they look cooler. I have not been able to get them to shoot as well as the Easton Access or the Beeman MFX. I used Beeman MFX before these. This is a good balance. This arrow is like a perfect balance. This, I think, it'll do it all. It's running about 420 grains. You could 3D hunt, everything with it. These are another good choice. So that's a tough call. I hate fletching these little puny things. I have some. Do I have them here? Do 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 do. And You'll also notice. Oh, these were. These are some victories I got on sale. Look at those little babies. They're too light. I didn't get the ones. I was trying for thousands and I didn't get the thousands because the sale, they were all sold out. I'm kind of cheap like that, huh? Well, no, sometimes I just buy a really good set of arrows, but then other times these are like 1100 or 1200 spine. They're, yeah, they're kind of flimsy. So, what is this? Oh, this is just an Instinct that I haven't fletched yet that I use for bear shaft. I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with my favorite size middle of the road arrow is the Easton Axis trad. But these are, if I had more experience or shot these for years, these are another good arrow. Both of those work great. 245 tours, 166. Yeah, 166 is starting to get uh, a little funny. It looks like we're not connecting to chat. I don't know what that is. So I think we're gonna close it out here since I'm not getting any more questions, and perhaps we'll plan for tomorrow night at 6, informally, only whoever's left here, 20 people, and I'll put something out, and it'll try to be on picking your first traditional bow, tips on picking your first traditional bow, and I'll try not to sell any of the bows that I have for sale that I don't really try to sell. And then you can also ask other questions once we get through questions that pertain to selecting your first bow, my thoughts, your thoughts, and then we'll open it up for just babbling like I'm doing a pretty good job of babbling. So everybody have a great night. And we'll talk to you later. This is Jeff from the Knocking Point, getting ready to sign out. We've been on for, I don't know, somewhere it's going to tell me. Been on for a while. I can't connect to chat. Have a good night. Have a good night. Did I end the stream? End. Is it ended? How do I know if it's ended? It says I'm alive. I'm trying to end. Are you sure you want to end? End! And the counter keeps counting. Tech support! Tech support, help me! I don't know how to end this. And it's live and it keeps ticking. Huh. I'll just close all the thingies. I don't know. What else can I do? All streams, recordings will shut down. We're